Hello, thank you for listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. This is Josh. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about the Anchor.fm app. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. What's up, everybody? This is Josh, and you're listening to the Moist Boys Reviews. Today, I'm talking about Ford v. Ferrari. It's the new James Mangold film, written by Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, and also Jason Keller, based on a novel, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, though I don't have those notes directly in front of me right now. This film takes place around the events of the Le Mans that took place in 1966. The film stars Matt Damon, Christian Bale, John Bernthal, Josh Lucas as various figures inside the story. Matt Damon plays Carroll Shelby, the car designer. Christian Bale plays Ken Miles, a race car driver. John Bernthal plays Lee Iacocca, one of the executives at the Ford Motor Company. So the strengths of this film lie in both the direction of a large part of the racing scenes. There are a few times when the effects seem to get in the way of the racing. This would be because the various locations that they had to film at, and also the shots that they wanted to get weren't possible with usual methods. There were a couple of times during the races when it became very obvious that it was an entirely digital image, and those scenes stuck out against the real ones. So it's a little disappointing to see that, but yeah, there are some times when it's understandable when they have to recreate large sections of locations that aren't really around anymore, especially around the Le Mans, when they had to recreate the stands and the time period. The performances in this film are all around good. There are no standout bad performances. Christian Bale, as usual, is good. It is nice to see him not having to fake an American accent in an American film, so that's always a plus. Matt Damon does his usual level of performance. I would say there are a few times when maybe he isn't able to sell the character in an emotional moment, but overall, nothing too distracting. One of the things I did like in the film is the portrayal, and this got the filmmakers in a little bit of trouble with the Ford Motor Company, but portraying Ford not as a benevolent figure in this story, but as the antagonists to the main characters. So it's nice to see something that's probably more historically accurate rather than trying to bow to the forces of Ford to make a more genteel portrayal of the company. Overall, I would say that this is, as far as the screenwriting goes, this is exactly I would say it's a standard Hollywood film. Nothing particularly special, nothing particularly terrible about it either, though. I would say without too much of a comment on on quality, I would say this is the perfect dad movie. So if you have a dad out there that you want to take to the movies, I would say this is a good film to choose. When I saw this movie, there were a lot of families that went to it, and I think this is a really good family movie for everyone to go out to. Maybe not for very small children, but for families out there that have dads that they want to treat. This is a good film to see. I am a little surprised that this didn't come out around Father's Day. I think this would have been the perfect film to come out around then. Instead, it came out around in the award season time, but I don't see it doing particularly well around that. So, but we'll have to see. The other thing that was nice to see for someone like me who grew up watching racing movies made in the 60s, it was fun to see a return to the evil, or maybe not evil, but definitely portrayed negatively, Italian race car drivers. So for those of you that have watched like the Herbie movies from the 60s, you'll probably be familiar with that archetype. So overall, I would say, with not being especially terrible, but not being particularly special film, I'm going to give Ford v Ferrari a 6.5 out of 10 George Clooney's. For those of our international audience, you may know this film as Le Mans 66, or Le Mans 66, I should say, because in international markets, it does have a different name. So keep an eye out for that. Please check out our other podcasts in the Moist Boys Network, the Moist Boys Podcast. We have links you can check out on our Instagram page at Moist Boys Podcast. And we will see you again next time.